Hello, my friends. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you've probably got one thing in mind, which is escaping the rat race. In all likelihood, you probably don't dream of labor. Maybe you look back on the Great Resignation with intense fondness, as I do. But no matter your personal taste in YouTube videos, you are here for one thing, and that is to have a slower, more sustainable and balanced pace of life. Honey, me too. Welcome to Passion Fruit, where we pursue lives of purpose together. Today, I'm here to blow your mind because a lot of us think that escaping the rat race is as simple as quitting your job, getting more money per hour, changing scenery, moving countries, starting a business, starting a side hustle, doing MLM or dropshipping, you name it. But looking at escaping the rat race from the perspective of money making is actually the completely wrong way to look at it. Look at it. And here's why. Before we really dive in, you need to get a little bit of backstory on me and some context for this video. So I'm Mel. Hello. Nice to meet you. I am a creative freelancer. If you've been following this channel for a while, you've probably seen a little bit of the behind the scenes of my business, but essentially I run a creative agency and I've been doing so for 3 years. Now, before that, I worked a full-time job. It was a media center. They did everything from, podcasting to video production to print publications. I was specifically in the editorial team, so I did a lot of writing, a lot of graphic design work, a lot of social media. Don't get me wrong, I loved the work. The work was interesting. It was challenging, at least at first. And the people there were lovely. But as it goes with most early 20-somethings, I just felt itchy. I felt like I wanted more of a challenge. And I felt like I was just trapped in an air-conditioned office and I never got to see the sun. Probably the last year of my residence there, my working there, I came home every day and cried. I was not happy. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But at the time, there was the 2020 Great Resignation, and granted, COVID probably had a lot to do with my mental health. It was all conflated, as it were. But I was watching all these videos about the Great Resignation and how people are leaving their jobs to start businesses and, you can start a side hustle at home and earn millions of dollars in just 4 hours a day and all of these promises that people were making. Ironically, the fact that they're making videos about how to make money and earning money off the video that teaches you how to make money rather than actually going and making the money is always hilariously fascinating to me, because clearly you're not making as much money as you're promising people can make because you're making videos. Anyway, we digress. But at the time, I was totally swept up in this ideology that if I quit my job and started my own business, I could live the most balanced existence on the planet. I could work out at any time I wanted during the day. I could cook healthy meals for myself. I could spend quality time with my family. I could take a Friday off and go to the beach. I could earn more money per hour and just kind of coast along in life without a care in the world. If you can't tell by my facial expression, that obviously has not happened. Now, big caveat to this. I love my job and I love working in my business a million times more than I have ever enjoyed working for someone else. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't start a business. All I'm saying is if you're trying to escape the rat race by starting a business, don't. Seriously, don't. Because you will work harder than you ever have before. You will be more mentally, physically, emotionally drained than you ever have been before. And instead of working 9 to 5, you will trade that for a 24/7. I know, that's a clever little saying they like to throw around. So while life is lived on my own terms a lot more in some ways than I used to working for an employer, it's also kind of less lived on my own terms because I never really switch off from work. When I tell you that on an average week I'm working 60 plus hours, I kind of feel ashamed about it, to be honest. It's not something I want to glorify. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it is something that is a reality for me. I'm always on, I'm always answering emails. There's always more that I could be doing rather than just clocking out at 5 p.m. All that to say, that's just an important bit of context for you going into this next section of the video to understand about the perspective that I'm taking this topic from. Okay, here is the plot twist. Here is the central thesis of this video. Escaping the 9 to 5, escaping the rat race, living a balanced life is not just about changing your circumstances. It's about a fundamental mindset shift. The rat race is not just a job that you can quit, guys. The rat race is a mindset that will follow you everywhere if you let it. And I feel like not enough people talk about this. Now, this is something that took me a long time to wrap my head around, and something that I think I could have only learned through experience. The more I built my business, the more I realized that for 99.99% of us in the world, in order to live in a capitalistic society, you have to work hard. In order to succeed, you have to work hard. In order to have a lot of money, you have to work hard. Unfortunately, the reality is that if you want to live a more balanced life, if you want to live a slower paced life, you'll probably have to make quite a few sacrifices, unless you're one of the people born into privilege, royalty or celebrity. And the more time we put in, the more return we will get. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. This is my favorite podcast of all time. Stephen talks a lot about his business and how he buys businesses and grows businesses and things. And I will tell you now, successful people work damn hard. This guy is like sleeping 4 hours a night some weeks. And he recently interviewed Mr. Beast, who is, as I'm sure you know, the most successful YouTuber of all time. He gets millions and millions of views on his videos. He's on track to having 1 billion subscribers on YouTube. And Stephen asked him, mate, why don't you just quit? You're like clearly a billionaire, if not multi-billionaire. You've got all of these companies, you make these crazy videos. You could just sell your channel and like live on the profit for the rest of your life, and probably your children could and their children could as well. Like, what drives you? And Jimmy's response to that question made me so sad.
If my mental health was a priority, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. I mean, and that's just like a sad fact. Being able to consistently suffer over long periods is like arguably one of the deepest modes. Like, there's a reason no one makes videos like me, like not even close, because no one wants to live the life I live. I mean, there are months where I think there was one year where I was flying like 200 days. Something I always tell myself is how you feel right now is why no one else does what you want to do or does what you do. And if you push through this, that's just even, more of a reason why no one will ever be who you are. I think we'll hit 1 billion subscribers, and I don't think anyone will be anywhere near close, because like once you make a couple $1 million, why would you live the life I live? Like, why? Why would you not take weekends off? Why would you not? You really have to like be delicate with the framing of your mind, because it's very easy in moments like that to go, I'm like a zoo animal. Like I don't have free will. I'm like a little robot to my businesses.
It made me so sad and so like existential, because he was driving his body to the absolute limit. For what? Sure, he loved it. He loved it. And that, I guess, is what sustains him. But eventually you have to ask yourself, why? Why am I in this position? I mean, that's like a crazy example of like a really successful person. But if you take it to a more granular level, a lot of us struggle with this as well. We work really hard to earn money for what? That money is just going to be buying more stuff that we don't need, to impress people we don't like. You know what I mean? And I think one of the most important questions that we need to ask ourselves when it comes to escaping the rat race and living a more slow and sustainable pace of life is why. If it's not out of necessity, and by that I mean like you need to financially survive, so you're working hard, that is so valid and so fine, especially in today's economy. But beyond that, if you're putting in all these hours and you're earning all this money, and that is actively subtracting from your depth of relationships with people and your free time and your appreciation of the moment, which is ever fleeting, and life is short, guys, like there's more to life than work, then what are you doing? The thing is, when I asked myself this question, and when I currently ask myself this question, there is one answer, and that is that your work is your worth, that your productivity is your value, and that what you do somehow denotes moral value to who you are as a human being. Most of us, especially in a capitalistic society, struggle with separating our work from our worth. What we do, our jobs are so intrinsic, so ingrained in us that like the first question that we ask people is, what do you do? What is your job? What do you do with your time? As though you have to be productive in order to be interesting, in order to be worthy. Many of us will struggle with this for different reasons. Maybe it's keeping up with the Joneses. Maybe you grew up in a poorer family and now you have like agency to make money and you want to prove yourself. Maybe like me, you grew up as an eldest sibling and just have this sense of like responsibility and duty to work hard. Maybe you grew up in like an immigrant family and your parents gave you all of these opportunities that they never had, and so you feel like you really have to work hard to please them. There's a million different reasons that we struggle with this specific issue. Unfortunately, this work equals worth equation is, for most people, our default definition of success. Very few people have a very specific definition of what success is to them. Most of us just borrow this like mindset of the world, which is that you need to work hard, you need to earn good money, and you need to get things, get stuff, right? Again, the harder we work, the more stuff we get. the greater our worth is. So I think the first fundamental mindset shift or question that you need to ask yourself in order to escape the rat race truly is, what does success mean to you? Get really granular on this. Ask yourself, where do I want to be in 40, 50 years time? What relationships are the most important to me? What do I truly love? What do I want to see before I die? What legacy do I want to leave to my kids? Because the thing is, if you don't consciously define what success means to you, the world will do it for you. The world will tell you that you need to buy stuff in order to be happy, in order to be successful, in order to be liked, in order to fit in order to X, Y, Z. And unfortunately, our world today is very, very much just a consumeristic cesspool, right? We just assume that more money equals more happiness because more money equals more things. But I love the trend recently on social media of de-influencing anti-consumerism. Oh, it makes my soul sing, because people are finally waking up to the fact that experiences will grow you, will develop you, will connect you in far greater ways than stuff ever could. All of that to say, escaping the rat race will mean sacrificing on certain things. Maybe you won't get that fancy mansion by the beach that you've always wanted. Maybe you won't drive the BMW, but maybe you'll be happier. Maybe you'll have better friendships. Maybe you'll have a nice little shack by the beach that's way more relaxed and there's way less to clean, and you got to open your mind to all the possibilities and also be willing to be misunderstood. Because when you look out there at the rat race, can you honestly say that everyone is happy? No. In fact, I'd probably say the majority are moderately unhappy or just meh about life. And yet these people, they have the car, they have the mansion, they have the stuff, they go to the private schools, they do all the things that is success, but that doesn't mean happiness. The freedom that comes with letting go of those expectations, from doing things your own way, from living on less, from working the land, from growing your own vegetables and making your own stuff and recycling. To sum up that third point, I guess I would sort of say that it is embracing enoughness. You not only need to define what success is for you, you also need to break up with consumerism and then finally define what enough is. All that to say, I think there is something so beautiful about embracing enoughness, of consciously choosing contentment, because it is a choice, guys. It is a choice. Gratitude is a choice, and it is a powerful choice, and it is a powerful mindset hack for everything in life, practicing gratitude, and I encourage all of you to do it. But I think even more specifically, if you can not only embrace enoughness, but define what enough is to you, asking yourself, what is success to me? And when is it enough? What is my limit? When do I start saying no? When do I start creating those boundaries? Creating a personal rule of life for yourself can really help with this, actually. And I have created another video on this channel on that very topic. So I encourage you to check it out if you haven't watched it already. That'll kind of go into all of the really nitty-gritty specific questions and value pyramids and pillars and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, folks, if I haven't made myself abundantly clear by this point, there are some fundamental mindset shifts that are required in order to escape the rat race that people just don't talk about enough. And while it is possible to escape the rat race and still earn millions of dollars, I'm telling you now, if you think that quitting your 9-to-5 to start a business is going to be the ticket to freedom, the ticket to a balanced life, then you are kidding yourself. 99.9% of business owners that I've ever met or ever listened to on podcasts work some ridiculous hours. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't start a business. I love working in my business. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but understand that escaping the rat race and starting a business or quitting a job or changing jobs is not enough. Escaping the rat race is a mindset shift, first and foremost, and kind of fundamentally only a mindset shift. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope it hasn't been too depressing, and I hope it hasn't crushed all of your dreams. But if it has, I'll also just add in that Santa Claus isn't real. Might as well rip the Band-Aid off. Let me know if you'd like me to make more videos on this topic, on slow living or on business building, and the tension between the two. I know I certainly struggle with it, or on any other topic. Really. I would love if you would leave a comment letting us know what success means to you in one sentence or less. That brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this little video essay format is enjoyable enough. If not, that's cool. You've probably clicked away already. Take care, guys. See you in the next video. And in the meantime, let's keep growing together. Bye.